Hello and welcome to the Beauty Dharma Summit. Thank you so much for being here today. And I am with the lovely Danielle Moga. And she is really a force to be reckoned with. I have to say, I am truly inspired. She's a newfound friend. And just reading, she is probably the polar opposite of me. She comes from corporate. She is a mom. She's a sister. I'm an only child. I'm not a mom. I never worked in corporate before. But wow, holy cow. It's been really, really exciting to get to know you, Danielle. And I welcome you to the summit.
Yeah.
And she is actually here in Jacksonville, Florida as well. So I'm going to share with you before I start interviewing Danielle. I'm going to tell our audience who you are, a little bit about you. And so Danielle is a mom, a wife, a daughter, a sister, a friend, and the founder of the Ideal Advantage. She supports her clients in achieving ideal outcomes in their business, career, and life through performance coaching and business strategy. After spending more than a decade in corporate America, climbing ladders and achieving C-suite success, Danielle left that life to create a business that allows her to live her passion. She now has the joy of leveraging her experiences and passion for leading, teaching, and mentoring to help others create their transformative aha moments that lead to a life of choice and freedom. Danielle blends her business strategy, real life firsthand experiences, and her love for others to help be a catalyst for change, to show that there is untapped potential and a life full of possibilities. Her biggest joy is seeing her clients light up when they unlock potential and recognize a new opportunity for success. Danielle's practical, informative, and to the point style, I am so sorry, to the point style, it didn't copy everything over there. That's just kind of what happens. To the point style inspires you. I am so sorry. I didn't realize it cut it off, but that's just part of how interviews go. To create order out of chaos and to build the business and life you envision. So that, there you go, right? Like it just appropriately cut off where chaos started.
Right. It's right there. And it's beautiful. You know, it happens. And I'm so pleased to be here. And yeah, such a great connection with you. And we were just chatting about the interview before the interview. And we should have been hitting record because, like, fast friends for sure. I just love your energy, and I'm excited to be here for this. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you as well. And what I love about meeting other entrepreneurs, professionals, people, authors, is that the more you meet, the more you find, you know, that gold in others that help us become more fulfilled, have more potential. And so it's, you know, it's just this web of really, you know, bringing all of these beautiful souls together and helping us grow where we might be missing out on a little bit too, of where our knowledge ends. So Danielle, I'm going to start with a couple of questions for you. And the first one is, what does beauty mean to you?
That is a great question. And beauty means so many things. And I think superficially, our world is set up to believe that beauty is just what we see. You know, we have industries that spend lots of money airbrushing and making perfection out of imperfections, but the beauty is in the imperfections. The beauty is in our authenticity. The beauty is in the laugh lines that we've created through life, the stretch marks that we've gotten from children, the bruises that we've gotten from being all in whatever activity. It's the scars from injuries where there's a story there, something exciting that had happened that maybe created a friendship or a bond. The beauty is in all of us, and it's not in the airbrushing. And so for me, when I think of beauty at this point in my life, beauty is having a great, powerful conversation with somebody that truly is digging deep and getting to know who they are in a real, authentic way. And I've had the great opportunity very recently to go through some training that I have found such great beauty and such friendships that I never would have thought possible in such a short period of time, and much less through a screen, but it's through connection.
Mm-hmm.
And beauty is really about connecting with others at a deeper, truly authentic level, and knowing who they are and embracing them for all the things that they may consider are flaws. They're really their strengths and their unique abilities that they can use to create a beautiful story about their life and live a beautiful life.
Wow, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. I love how I just ask these questions for those of you that have been on the summit throughout all of these fabulous speakers. And it really, there's that thread. I can't say that one person here has not swam deep when they described what beauty meant to them. So that's really incredible. Communication. Something to really think about, right? The power that we have through our voice. Wow.
It's yeah, I mean, and truly it does. It's all about communicating and taking the time to use your voice in a powerful way, a subtle way, to create conversation that's not the traditional, how are you? Like that's a great opening, but it's so one dimensional.
Right.
And I'm great, I'm fine. And it's like, well, what's the best thing that happened to you today? What did you get to create today? What inspired you today?
Mm-hmm.
And creating conversation that really helps people to dig deep and find the beauty that inspired them that day and communicate it back to you.
Absolutely. And again, like, well, the name is called Beauty Dharma, which is purpose. And through looking at, what purpose is that there is this level of discipline. There is this level of what do we want to do, and how do we want our life to look like. And I feel that through the summit, it really has allowed all of us that are watching this to explore what we want out of our life and how to make it more beautiful with every single person. Your description of what beauty is, it's like, wow, that I hadn't really thought about that. I think I was mentioning to you yesterday, one of the speakers that I've interviewed, and she was saying that there is no beauty without order. And I hadn't really necessarily thought about that before, but I thought, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense to me. And when you allow that to come in and to bring that order, and that is exactly where I started messing up on your bio, by the way. Danielle's practical, informative, and to the point style inspires you to create order out of chaos and to build, I'm going to add, the beautiful business and life you envision. So it really is. And again, that's not going to come overnight, right, Danielle?
No, it doesn't. And so the company name is the Ideal Advantage Business, Career, and Life. And when you have the word ideal in there, and this is a beauty conversation, it may be a little bit misleading. In the instance that I was using ideal, it's about ideal outcomes. And when you lead with the end in mind and you create order out of the chaos, it does create beautiful outcomes that will lead to a beautiful life of choice and freedom. Yeah. And it came to me at a time when I was groomed through corporate America. I came out of college and went into public accounting, computer consulting, leadership, just you name it, and led to some really wonderful opportunities that allowed me to use a lot of different talents. But so much of what we did was chaotic and out of order. And I love efficiency and to the point. And so as I sat in mind-numbing meeting after meeting after meeting and thinking, we didn't accomplish anything here, you know, what if we led with intention and just started tweaking the way that we would do business? And the question would become, what are the ideal outcomes that we want to achieve? What does success look like here? And you lead with the end in mind and reverse engineer everything that you do. It helps to create that order so that you can get those beautiful outcomes. So the ideal advantage is really about looking ahead and using vision and thinking forward about what you truly want in your life for yourself, for those that you come in contact with in a really beautiful and rich way, and working backwards to make sure that you can structure it in an organized manner to get those results. So, and that's beautiful.
It is beautiful. And it's so interesting. Like I said, you and I couldn't be more different in the sense of an artist. Well, I'll just speak for myself, but we rarely look at the final outcome and reverse engineer, at least, because it's all about exploring and creating as we go. We may have a like, you know, something. I mean, like, I'll look at you, let's say I'm, you know, we're going to work together and you are my client, and I can see what I can do, you know, I guess. So I get, you know what, maybe I am contradicting myself a little bit here too, because I know that potential. So
Right.
actually, I totally just contradicted myself. I love it because, yes, just like you can probably, once you see what my business is about, then you probably go, wow, look at all of this opportunity, or maybe all of these areas that I could save money or have, you know, potential. But yes, I can see where you're probably, you know, it's the form and function that I always see, you know. We're all about form and not so much about function.
You do. I mean, you have clients that, you know, they walk in, or you're maybe doing a pre-interview or something to get a sense of who they are, their style, their body, their face, their skin, everything. You're doing that pre-assessment. You're taking in all of that information. Your mind, you do it so naturally that you don't even think there's planning to it, because it's a part of your unique abilities, right?
Yeah.
So you're tapping into your heart because that's what you know to be true, and you're already envisioning all the things that you can do to bring out someone's beauty and your talent.
Mm-hmm.
And so you are planning ahead. You see it. It just doesn't even occur to you because it's a part of your natural way of being.
It's very true. I mean, I like I said, I just totally contradicted myself because it is such a natural, and because I've been doing it for so long,
Right.
it's just completely organic for me on how I work with my clients. But it is, and to be able to, like you said, you know, being able to unlock that potential,
Right.
whether it's with someone's, you know, numbers versus, you know, their features, that's really where we find that joy. So I'm going to ask you another question. This one is, when did you discover your beauty?
That's a good question too. These are great questions. And I will tell you, beauty for me in my early definition was certainly not what I led with when we were speaking. And because I grew up in an environment without a lot of resources, in not a lot of structure, and very much alone, and ended up with tattered clothes, kind of like not sure where my next meal was coming from, that kind of environment. And also moved around a lot. So I had 10 different schools from the time of kindergarten through 12th grade. And you know, children are, it's hard. it's hard being the new kid in school. It's hard being the new kid in school, being very insecure, looking like a ragamuffin, you know, kind of unkept, and getting that judgment, especially in those early formative years. And so I spent so much of my time in my life from a very young age being driven to something different. Like, I will not be made fun of again. I will not, you know, I made all these declarations that were really focused on how can I look better? What can I do? You know, so it's, I'm going to babysit so I'll have money so I can buy all the latest fashions. So I remember being so proud of my money. I started babysitting at like 11, and I would take all my money and I would, you know, with a friend, we would go to a store and just get the latest jeans or the latest top or whatever it was. And that's what I needed to feel good, to feel beautiful, to be seen, to be recognized, and to not be made fun of and to be judged and ridiculed, because kids can be mean.
Oh, yes.
Those were the messages that I was getting. So for me, so much of beauty at a young age was just very surface. And as I got older, you know, we all evolve, and that it's just like, this is who I am. You take it or leave it. You have to love yourself, and you have to be comfortable in your own skin. You know, we all have things about our body that we're going to say, oh, you know, my eyes aren't big enough, or my nose is too big, or my lips are too small, or whatever it is. We're our own worst enemies. And we tear ourselves down. And the thing, I catch myself, and I've done this for a while now because I have daughters, and like, they listen when we start talking about our bodies and our imperfections. What message are we sending to them? And it's our job to build each other up. There is a world out there that is happy to tear us down at any moment. So our job in our circle, in our community, is to help each other rise up and see the beauty that we all have inside within us, and to really draw that out. And that's why I get so excited about working with people who are just like, oh, I don't know what I would do. I love this and I love that, but they can't quite put it all together. It's like, let's have a conversation about that. Let's tap in to all that beautiful potential that you have inside, and let's create something beautiful out of that. And that's what beauty is. That's what true beauty is believing in yourself, trusting yourself, loving yourself for who you are. Because when you get to that point, you get lit up. And you know what's super attractive is a really lit up person.
Yes.
Who's excited and engaging and can walk in a room with their head held high and confidence. Just the confidence of knowing who you are as an individual and the gifts that you have to be a help to others and to help them find that as well. So beauty has been an evolving, I don't know that there was a definitive moment, but it's been an evolving learning process. And I think we all continue to evolve and learn as we grow, and we open ourselves up to individuals like you and anybody that we come in contact with. They're here to teach us, to help us. They're here for us to help us learn and grow.
Absolutely. And it's very interesting that and this is where we are very similar in a way, where something happened to you at a young age and you took charge to make that never be a situation for you in the rest of your life. And I shared some of that, of my own personal story, in when at the launch, on the first series, when I spoke to everyone. And it really, it can be both ways. You know, you have, depending on, you know, who that little person is, who you are, what your spirit is like, you can either go very inward and hurt, or you can take that and just completely, they in some different types of work and things that I've done is they call that your winning formula. And your winning formula, however, your winning formula doesn't necessarily get you exactly what you want. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword, until you can completely, because it's that defense mechanism, you know, it's that. And as you know, right now, you know, that perfect pair of jeans will never come. But it sure worked to be able to, it was the same for me. I grew up in Spain and went to private schools. And, back then, like if you did not have a Lacoste shirt with an alligator on it, like you just were no one. I mean, like it was just so, there were just these things that in school gave you that joy because you could belong. And it was, and of course, later on you learn that, I mean, great quality shirts. I don't necessarily wear them anymore, but it just, there's so much in that belonging and that being able to feel proud and have, like, for you, money kind of became your career, right? If you're an accountant.
Well, I started out in accounting. I moved way, way, way far away from that. Way far away to the consulting and the strategy and the coaching part. But it was an amazing foundation because it allowed me to work in a lot of different industries and do the strategic business part that I love. And I'm like loving helping entrepreneurs start their businesses and even discover what it is that they want to do. So yeah, that was my way early start of not knowing what I wanted to do with my life, but I needed to find a stable career that would always be there.
Well, and understanding, I mean, there's just so much conversation around money anyways,
Yeah.
but when you can own the structure and understand, and that's the number one thing about business, it is, we can love all day long putting on lipsticks and all that, but if you can't run a business, you're not going to be able to do that for very long.
Right.
So I love that was something that, had you be empowered. And
Yeah, because you can either look at those situations, and we all have them. We all have choices every single interaction, every single day, every single moment. You can choose to let a situation make you into a victim and you do nothing, and then you become limited in your mindset with what you can achieve, or you can choose to be victorious. I chose to be victorious. I chose to not let my situations define me. It's really easy to live in a space of stories. When we create stories and they stack and they stack and they stack, and before you know it, you have completely convinced yourself that you are stuck in the space that you're in, and you're not. And again, that's what excites me. It's like showing you the possibilities that exist in you that you have just buried under all these stories that have been made up for so long, and just like release it, because you have that choice. You can let it go and you can choose to step in to your possibilities, into something completely new. And that reframes your life and that creates beauty. Going back to the summit, I mean, that's what creates the beauty in your life, because beauty is joy, beauty is happiness, beauty is living the life that you authentically were made to live. Mm-hmm. And being able to strip all that negativity, all that victim mentality, all the things that you think have been holding you back, and being able to step into those possibilities, that's creating a beautiful life.
Yes, it is. Danielle, we were talking a little bit about, and I love that you have shared this story about how you grew up and whatnot, but you were sharing something about how other women have, how they have mentioned, like, oh, I could never look as put together as you. And so share a little bit about that, what that means to you, perhaps, and what women could do, something that they could, from listening to this, summit, what could they do that you have practices like put in place, to empower and feel more empowered and beautiful?
Yeah, well, I mean, first off, never judge a book by its cover, right? That's like, we've all heard that over and over again, and it's true. You don't know what's truly inside until you make that connection, until you flip through the pages, you get to know it a little deeper and more intimately. And then you can make a true assessment of what you believe at that point. But think about what it's costing you if you completely shut the door on a possibility because you just made a judgment. And, people will look at me. And again, this comes from years of striving to be perfect, right? I was trying to outrun a past that I didn't want to be a part of. And so I thought that if I did everything perfect, if I looked a certain way, if I dressed a certain way, if I talked a certain way, that would solve everything. And then I went into careers in life that where I had to be so polished because I'd be with C-suite or putting on a presentation for an organization. And so that sort of like even intensified that need to
Yeah.
be put together. But just because I may seem put together doesn't mean that you're not put together too, you know, and it doesn't mean that you set the bar for yourself in a way that like you could never achieve and reach those levels. For me, when I see women or men that I'm like, man, they're so cool. Like, I love that talk they did, or how did they even put that event together? Or man, that was really powerful. Like, my ammo is to reach out. Like, I want to get to know, like, how did you do that? Like, I want to be you when I grow up. How do I do that? So, like, it's changing your mindset. It's because the judgment that you have about people when you're automatically making those statements about, oh, they're so put together, or they do this. Here's my cat coming on screen. when you're making these statements, that's more about you than about the person. And it's likely more about you having limiting beliefs in yourself. And so when you have those, I just would encourage everybody to just sort of sit with it and do an assessment of, why am I reacting this way? Why am I feeling this way? Is that really something that I really want in my life? And if it is, then why am I automatically shutting the door and creating these limitations? Change your mindset, make the shift, be your ammo to reach out, call, reach out to those people that you admire and you aspire to be. And 9 times out of 10, if you're being authentic, you're going to get so much love and support, because that's what real community is about. That's what love and giving back, because everybody started at some place. And we all started from the place of we need help and we need support. And people are right there and happy to catch you and help nudge you along the way and give you those guiding things that will lead you to the place that you aspire to be.
Absolutely. And wow, so much is going through my mind right now with this conversation. Um, it, I, I have found that just by creating this summit and finding the ideal speakers, um, and again, it has empowered me along the way, and listening to every single one of you and what you have brought into my life, as well as, you know, giving life to beauty dharma, has been amazing. And also finding, you know, like, I know that you and I will be friends for a long time, and we will stay connected, definitely. And so also I find that, you know, what you were saying too is, a lot of times we do think, wow, they do have it so put together out there, and they're, who would I be to, you know, kind of go up and meet them? And, you know, and I've had both sides. I've had people that welcome you with open arms, and then there's some other not so nice people that really couldn't be bothered if there's not something in it for them.
Sure.
And and there's beauty in both of those areas, because we've all had situations in life too that have taught us lessons, from not great experiences. And so finding that beauty in there, even though at that time it's not feeling very beautiful. But I
Right.
think with growing older and learning, and again, I think it's that conversation of vulnerability.
Right.
There's a lot of power in vulnerability and not giving
Yeah.
meaning.
Absolutely. And I was on a call earlier, and the conversation was around vulnerability. And my she was sharing her definition of vulnerability was like pain, like, oh, why do I want to do that? And it's really about being a place of putting yourself out there with love. Like, I'm being vulnerable and sharing my experiences. And And that really shifts the perspective. And that's really about everything. It's like, just shift your perspective. Look at things from the other person's point of view. Change the conversation. Look at it from different angles. And it becomes a beautiful thing. But vulnerability is beautiful.
It is.
Beautiful.
It's scary sometimes. It seems like a very scary place to go, but oh my gosh, the gold is there's just so much gold. I mean, hello, Brene Brown's made a whole career out of exploring that conversation. So
Right.
yes. So Danielle, I want to thank you so much. I mean, this has just been a really beautiful and empowering conversation. Um, so share what is one thing that someone could put into place right away? Let's say if that, with some techniques and skills that you have, that can make them shine a little more brighter.
Yeah. Mindset, I'm a big mindset person, and it really is just creating those shifts and those possibilities. And I would say that if you're feeling resistance about something in your life that you want to do, that is your indication that you probably should be doing it. And so if you embrace the, oh, what the F, just do it anyways. So if it's a conversation that you need to have, or you want to finally take the time and invest in yourself and your business, and there's something holding you back, like lean into that and figure out what it is, and get it out of your head. I'm a big advocate for, I just did a couple of trainings this week, as your messaging on the mark, and then overcoming overwhelm to find your focus. And both of those conversations start with get it out of your head, because we live in this space where it creates chaos in our minds. But once we put it on paper, it suddenly creates the opportunity to become organized and to see connections and see that everything that was swirling up here isn't so big and scary. It is manageable, and I can actually work with it to make some sense and to create some ideas for next things. And so, and the other thing too is, if you're worried about having a conversation, because that's another thing that comes up, people are worried about having a conversation to like start that next move, get it out of your head, go stand in front of a mirror and practice. And just the art of practicing having that conversation is going to help you be more relaxed and be more comfortable and exude more confidence. And where you get tripped up, are the areas that maybe you need to dig a little deeper and do a little bit of discovery work there. But resistance is a really interesting thing. And I would say that, don't run from it, embrace it and sit in it and figure out what's creating that for you.
That's beautiful. Yes. Getting it out of your head. We get stuck in there. Then all of a sudden, whew, you're in overwhelm and you just freeze up. And so move through that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Dark and twisty, get it out. Don't live in the dark and twisty.
Dark and twisty, get out of there. Sounds like a cocktail.
Okay. It does, actually.
Dark and stormy, dark and twisty.
I'm onto something there.
I love it. So Danielle, share with everyone how they can, reach you, or if they want to find out more, they can be your new friend. And I believe that you also have a complimentary gift for our viewers too. So please share.
I'm collecting new friends all the time. So everybody is welcome. You can find me at hello@DanielleMoga.com. That's DANIELLEMOGA.com. That's also my website, DanielleMoga.com. You can go on there if you'd like to get a complimentary call with me. We can do some strategy and figure out what your next moves are to create your ideal outcomes. There's a button there to book your call. But for today, for the audience, I have a free gift. It's called the Ideal Life Assessment. And it's what I use with all my private coaching and group coaching clients as well. It gives me a baseline measure. Because I have a business background, I like to measure performance and improvements. And so this Ideal Life Assessment covers the 10 primary domains of your life. So if you think about family, relationships, mind, body, spirit, fun, finances, personal growth and development, those big categories and areas of our lives, you can self-assess on a scale of 1 to 10, and it gives you a score. And then there's a whole rating system of where you're falling. And what that does is it helps to provide a really great conversation for us, or for you at least to see when you're looking at your life and thinking about the areas that you want to improve upon. It's very thought provoking to say, oh, I do need to spend some time in these areas. And what's the best way to do that, to improve how you view your life, to create that beautiful life that you're dreaming of?
I'm doing that assessment. Hold on. Here I go. I want to find out.
Yeah, it's very enlightening. It really is.
Yeah.
It's fun to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the fun part about it is as we are in our past, I feel so lucky to have been a makeup artist in so many different aspects: film, television, entrepreneur, have my own studio, create a makeup line. I mean, granted, I'm going to be 58. So girls, if you're listening and you're 25, it's not going to happen that quickly, but you just keep on going and doing things, and education, and it evolves. And I never stop learning. I'm learning every day with all of you as well. So thank you so much for, bringing your words of wisdom. This has been a delicious place to swim in and to learn. And I'm sure our viewers have really, really gotten a lot out of meeting you, Danielle, and they can go to your website. I love this assessment. I am definitely going to be doing that. And so I want to thank you so much for being here, and we will see all of you on the next Beauty Dharma session. Thank you so much, Danielle. Bye.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.